The Willow Creek neighborhood was known for its perfection. Each lawn was trimmed like velvet. Mailboxes were polished to shine, and every flower bed seemed to bloom on command. Behind this strict beauty stood the HOA, the Homeowners Association, that ruled the community with an iron fist. Sophia, a 27-year-old artist, never imagined she would end up here. After her parents passed away, she inherited their home in Willow Creek. Unlike the other residents, Sophia wasn't obsessed with rules or appearances. She loved the wild, untamed beauty of nature, the kind that wasn't afraid to grow freely. On her very first day, she painted her front door a deep ocean blue, something not approved by the HOA. Neighbors watched her with raised eyebrows. To them, she was a spark of rebellion in a world of conformity. The first week was tough. Sophia received her first HOA violation letter for leaving her trash cans outside for too long. Then another for planting roses without proper alignment. It was overwhelming, but Sophia didn't want to fight. She only wanted peace. One evening, exhausted from unpacking, Sophia sat on her porch with a sketchbook. The golden hour bathed the street in honey-colored light. That's when she noticed him. Ryan. He lived 2 houses down, a tall man in his early 30s, broad-shouldered, with kind yet mysterious eyes. He worked as an HOA board member, and, technically, he was one of the people responsible for those violation letters. But unlike the others, his gaze didn't hold judgment. It held curiosity. Their eyes met. He gave her a small, hesitant smile. Sophia smiled back. Something warm flickered between them, though neither dared to say a word. The next day, fate brought them closer. Sophia struggled with her lawn mower, which refused to start. Ryan, returning from his jog, noticed her frustration. "Need a hand?" he asked, his voice calm, steady. Sophia hesitated. She knew he was part of the HOA, the same group making her life difficult. But something about his presence felt safe. "Yes, please," she said softly. He fixed the mower with ease. Sophia thanked him, and they stood awkwardly for a moment, silence humming between them. "Welcome to Willow Creek," Ryan finally said. "It's not always easy here, but you'll get used to it." Sophia tilted her head. "Do you actually believe that? Or are you just saying it because you're on the board?" Ryan chuckled, surprised by her bluntness. "Maybe both." That small exchange sparked something. Over the next few days, they shared brief conversations by the mailbox on evening walks while Sophia watered her plants. Every time, Ryan's smile grew warmer. Yet, beneath their budding connection, a storm brewed. The HOA president, Mrs. Caldwell, a sharp-eyed woman in her 60s, had already labeled Sophia as a problem. And Ryan? He was expected to enforce the rules, not bend them. But as he watched Sophia laugh one afternoon, sunlight tangled in her hair, Ryan felt the impossible. He didn't want to be the HOA's enforcer anymore. He wanted to be the man who protected her. And just like that, a forbidden love began to take root, quietly, dangerously, beautifully. Days turned into weeks, and Sophia and Ryan's quiet connection deepened. At first, it was small things, a wave across the street, a shared smile by the mailbox, a few words exchanged about the weather. But soon, their conversations grew longer, talks about art, books, and even music. Sophia discovered that Ryan wasn't just a strict HOA board member. He loved old jazz records, collected vinyl, and once dreamed of becoming a musician. But his father had insisted he take a practical career path, which led him into real estate and, eventually, the HOA. "You don't really belong in this world of rules and regulations," Sophia said one evening as they walked along the sidewalk. "I can see it in your eyes." Ryan laughed softly, his hands in his pockets. "And you? You don't belong in a neighborhood that wants every flower to grow in a straight line." They both smiled, recognizing the truth in each other's words. Something was pulling them together, something neither could ignore. But the HOA wasn't blind. Mrs. Caldwell, the HOA president, noticed Ryan spending more time near Sophia's house. One afternoon, during a board meeting in the clubhouse, she addressed him directly. "Ryan," she said sharply, tapping her pen on the table. "That new woman, Sophia, she's already broken 3 rules in less than a month. Blue door, trash cans, flowers. And now I hear you've been friendly with her. Ryan kept his face calm, but his heart raced. I'm just making sure she feels welcome. Isn't that what we want for our community? Mrs. Caldwell's eyes narrowed. What we want is order. If she doesn't follow the rules, she doesn't belong here. And as an HOA board member, you should remember which side you're on. The warning was clear. Ryan nodded politely, but inside he was torn. That weekend, Sophia invited Ryan over for tea. He hesitated at first, but when he saw her sitting in the garden, surrounded by her wild roses, he couldn't resist. "This is beautiful," he said, looking around. Sophia smiled. "The HOA doesn't think so. They wanted to cut them back, make them smaller, acceptable. But I like them this way, free." Ryan sat down across from her. Sometimes the best things in life don't fit the rules. Their eyes lingered longer than before, their words carrying unspoken feelings. For the first time, Ryan allowed himself to imagine what it would be like to truly let go of his role, to just be with her. But reality struck sooner than expected. The very next morning, Sophia found a final warning letter from the HOA pinned to her door. If she didn't repaint her front door and remove the roses within 7 days, she would face heavy fines and possible legal action. Tears stung her eyes. She felt trapped, cornered, unwanted in her own home. She clutched the letter and ran into her garden, where Ryan found her minutes later. "Sophia, what happened?" he asked, alarmed. She showed him the letter. "They won't let me live. Everything I do is wrong to them. Maybe I should just sell this house and leave." Ryan's chest tightened. The thought of her leaving Willow Creek, leaving him, was unbearable. "No," he said firmly, almost more to himself than to her. "You deserve to be here. This is your home. I'll help you." Sophia looked at him, surprised. "But you're one of them. You're HOA." Ryan stepped closer, his voice low but steady. "Not anymore. Not when it comes to you." For a long moment, they stood in silence, the roses swaying gently around them. The air carried the weight of something forbidden, dangerous, but also undeniably real. Ryan knew he had just crossed a line he could never return from. And Sophia, for the first time, felt she wasn't fighting alone. But deep down, both of them knew this was just the beginning of a battle that could destroy them. The tension in Willow Creek was rising, but so was the closeness between Sophia and Ryan. After the HOA's final warning, Sophia had retreated to her garden, feeling defeated. Ryan, refusing to let her face this battle alone, spent every evening helping her plan. They measured, painted, and trimmed together, turning mundane chores into shared laughter and quiet moments that lingered longer than either expected. One golden evening, Ryan carried a tray of lemonade to Sophia's porch. She was kneeling among her roses, trying to prune them despite the HOA restrictions. "You shouldn't do this alone," he said softly. "I can't let them win," Sophia replied, her voice firm but weary. Ryan knelt beside her, adjusting a branch that threatened to scratch her arm. Sometimes the only way to win is to take a stand together. Their hands brushed accidentally while reaching for the same branch. Both paused, their eyes locking. There was a long silence, broken only by the rustling of the roses. Then, almost imperceptibly, Ryan leaned closer. Sophia's heart raced, but she didn't pull away. Their lips met softly, a gentle kiss that spoke of hope, comfort, and a love that refused to be silenced. Ethan ran up from the treehouse, breaking the moment with his excited shout. "Mom! Dad! Mr. Ryan, look at the treehouse." The laughter eased the tension, but Sophia's mind remained on the HOA. She knew the board's rules could not crush her son's happiness, but fighting them would mean defying an institution with immense power. And Ryan, he was putting himself at risk just by being on her side. The next day, Ryan faced his own conflict. The HOA board had scheduled a meeting to discuss Sophia's violations. As a member, he was expected to defend the rules, yet his conscience screamed against it. During the meeting, Henderson called his name sharply. "Mr. Ryan, you have been seen supporting Mrs. Sophia's blatant disregard for community rules. Explain yourself." Ryan stood, calm but resolute. "I've seen her care for this community more than anyone here. Her home is her sanctuary, and her family deserves that peace. A murmur ran through the room. Henderson's glare could freeze water. Do you side with her over the board? Ryan's jaw tightened. I side with what is right. Rules are meant to guide, not punish innocent families. The board was stunned. Ryan had openly declared defiance, risking his position and reputation. But Sophia had always known there was a courage beneath his quiet demeanor. Now it shone brightly. After the meeting, Sophia and Ryan walked through the neighborhood in silence. The autumn air was crisp, leaves crunching beneath their feet. You risked everything, Sophia said softly. Everything for you and Ethan, Ryan replied. Their hands found each other, fingers intertwining naturally. Sophia's heart swelled, not just with gratitude, but with a love she had never allowed herself to feel since her divorce. Days passed, and the treehouse was complete. The HOA sent letters of threat, but Sophia and Ryan refused to back down. They spent evenings decorating it, Ethan's laughter filling the air. Every night, Sophia and Ryan shared quiet moments, sitting on the porch, talking about dreams, music, and life's possibilities. Their love, though still secret from the wider community, grew stronger. One night, under a canopy of stars, Ryan whispered, I thought I was done with love, done with hope. But you made me believe again. Sophia's eyes glistened. And you gave me courage I didn't know I had. For the first time, both of them understood the power of love, not just as romance, but as a force that could challenge unfair authority and inspire bravery. Yet the threat of the HOA still loomed. Their love was a rebellion in itself, a quiet but powerful statement that rules could not dictate happiness. The final week before the HOA deadline arrived, Sophia had decorated the treehouse with Ethan's small touches, colorful flags, hand-painted signs, and even a tiny rope ladder. Every evening, she and Ryan strategized together, planning how to present their case to the neighborhood without breaking the rules outright. On the day of the HOA hearing, the community gathered in the clubhouse. Henderson sat at the head of the table, a smug smile on her face, while the rest of the board watched silently. Sophia stepped forward, holding Ethan's hand. Ryan stood beside her, a quiet pillar of support. My son deserves a childhood, Sophia began, her voice steady. This treehouse isn't just wood and nails. It's laughter, imagination, and memories. It brings the neighborhood together, and I've seen no harm in it. Henderson scoffed. Rules exist for a reason. One violation leads to another. If we allow this, chaos will follow. Ryan spoke up, his voice calm but firm. With all due respect, Mrs. Henderson, the community thrives on compassion as much as compliance. Sophia's actions promote family, joy, and connection. Isn't that what Willow Creek stands for? The room murmured. Residents whispered to each other, nodding in agreement. Some even stepped forward to voice support for Sophia's treehouse. The tide was turning. Henderson's face hardened, but Ryan continued. I've seen her care for this neighborhood more than anyone here. Punishing her for love and creativity is not just unfair, it's wrong. The board members glanced at one another. Henderson could see the community was no longer blindly following her. She finally slumped back, defeated. After the hearing, Sophia, Ethan, and Ryan returned to the backyard. The neighborhood kids gathered around the treehouse, climbing and laughing. Sophia looked at Ryan with gratitude, her heart full. You stood up for us, she whispered. Ryan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. We stood up for each other. That's what matters. Ethan hugged them both tightly. Best day ever. Days later, life settled into a peaceful rhythm. Sophia and Ryan's love became open, no longer hidden behind fences or whispered conversations. They spent evenings painting, gardening, and planning small community projects together. The HOA rules remained, but their shared courage had reminded everyone that kindness, love, and family mattered more than strict compliance. One evening, as the sun set, Sophia leaned against Ryan. I never thought I'd find love here, she said softly. Ryan kissed her forehead. Neither did I. But sometimes love finds you where you least expect it, even across a fence. The Willow Creek neighborhood had changed, not because the rules were gone, but because love had reminded everyone why they existed in the first place. Sophia, Ryan, and Ethan had built more than a treehouse. They had built a life together, grounded in trust, courage, and affection. And in that backyard, where roses swayed gently in the evening breeze, a family laughed, played, and dreamed, undaunted by rules, empowered by love.